Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make Chai Latte Cinnamon Rolls. I've taken my famous cinnamon rolls and turned it into a delicious roll that tastes just like a chai latte. You are going to go crazy for these ones. Start by heating 1 cup of milk to about 105 degrees Fahrenheit. 105 degrees is around the temperature of a good hot tub, so that's what you're looking for. In my microwave, it takes about 1 minute. Then we're going to take this chai tea bag and let it steep for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you want to use the back of a spoon and gently press it against the sides to squeeze out even more flavor to infuse the milk. I'm putting that chai flavor in the dough, in the filling, in the glaze. It is everywhere in this cinnamon roll, which is exactly why it tastes just like a chai latte. We'll pour this into a mixing bowl, or you can use a stand mixer, of course. Then add 1 tablespoon of instant dry yeast and 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of softened butter, 1 large egg, and then we'll add in about 2.5 cups of flour and reserve the rest to add if we need to. Then you'll grab a spoon and start mixing this together, or use that stand mixer. Listen, stand mixers are super convenient. I call them muscle savers, but you don't have to have one in order to bake successfully in the kitchen. Once it becomes too difficult to stir with the spoon, I'm going to take it out and start kneading it on the counter and adding more flour as necessary. You want a dough that's soft and buttery, but not so sticky that it sticks to your hands. Then transfer the dough to a lightly greased mixing bowl, cover it with plastic wrap or a tea towel, and let it rise for about 1 hour. Once it's double in size, grab a rolling pin, and then you need a clean countertop. Turn the dough out onto the countertop, and we're gonna roll into a 12 by 18 inch rectangle. Now, something I always do is use my recipe paper as a measurement guide, because I know it's 8.5 by 11 inches, so we get a little more than that. That's 12. And then 8.5 plus 8.5 is about 17, so we get a little more, and that's 18. And listen, I don't mind cooking from my phone or tablet either, but having a paper sure is handy. Next, we're gonna take 1/2 cup of softened butter and spread it across all of our dough, all the way to the edges. We're gonna leave just a little bit up here at the top. Now for the sugary filling, you'll need 1 cup of brown sugar. For the spice mix, you'll need 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. These are all your chai spices, so we're gonna stir that in with our sugar. Then we're gonna spread this over our butter to cover it completely. I just like to dump it on and then spread it out with my hands. Make sure you get all the way to the bottom, because that's gonna be the center of your cinnamon roll, and to the edges. Now, some people like to cut it into strips and roll up each roll individually, but I just start on the long end the traditional way and roll it up into a log. You just want to grab those clear pieces and press them on to seal it together. Then use a serrated knife to cut into 12 equal pieces. Then place them into a lightly greased 9 by 13 pan. Cover with a tea towel or plastic wrap, and we're gonna let these rise for about 45 minutes. While your rolls are rising, you wanna take another chai tea bag, and this time we're gonna let it steep in 1/2 cup of heavy cream for 45 minutes while the rolls rise. Once again, use the back of a spoon to press on the tea bag and squeeze out as much of that flavor as possible. Then you're gonna drizzle this chai-infused cream over your risen rolls. This makes them even creamier than normal, really bringing in that latte vibes. We're gonna bake these in a 325-degree oven for about 25 minutes until the tops are just barely golden brown. While the rolls are baking, you should make your glaze/frosting to go on top. You'll need 4 ounces of softened cream cheese and a 1/4 cup of softened butter. Use a hand mixer to cream these together until smooth, which will just take about 1 minute. Then we'll add in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom, and we'll give that a quick mix to combine before adding in about 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, which is half of the amount we're gonna use. We'll mix this in and then thin it out with about 2 tablespoons of milk. Give that a quick mix and then add in our remaining powdered sugar, mixing until the powdered sugar is all mixed in and all of those white specks disappear. And that is it for our glaze. We'll set that aside until our rolls are done baking. You may use all of it, you may only use some of it. It really just is a matter of personal preference to how much frosting you want on those rolls. Wait until the liquid has stopped bubbling, and then you can generously smother these with that delicious glaze and use as much or as little as you want. Thanks for watching. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and check out the rest of my videos where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. We'll see you later.